I'll give you a summary of Gordy when I worked with him and how important he ended up being with me in my life and your department. I'll just go back to 1989, and we were all at Crofton doing shutdowns, and we worked on the digesters. He ran second shift, and I was on first shift doing that, and driver and all that. And we had a good time. It was all cost plus and that, but it was a rebuild of the mill, and what happened is Gordy was so good at refined type work that I was in charge of we got into the bleach plants and that, and I had a real nightmare with this. You do a shutdown and all this small bore steak, and you're always missing fittings at 2 in the morning and stuff like this, and like, where are you going to get it, and all this. Well, eventually Gordy ended up taking that over, and it was such a thorn in my side, and I remember saying to him, make sure we got tons of fittings, because this job was going on for years. Within 2-3 months, we had 2 toolboxes full. All the other people that were on doing that never took an interest, never took the degree of what Gordy is like. So that always hung in my mind all my life as we carried on. Okay, and then we got into, that's 89. By the 90s, and Crofton ended, we got into the mid-90s and we were into fish bowls. And the biggest fire in that yard's history. And BC history in that nature. That was so, the magnitude of that fire was like, we all left thinking the yard was full. You were there, right? I was there. I remember like big patches blowing 6 feet in the air, and we were like the dogs like, I'm getting that bloody. So he was on nights, I was on days. He always liked the night shift. Later in the 90s, I remember we got down, the pipe department wasn't a high respected department back then. They used to lay us all off, and then the other, that's a fact. And I remember me and him being the only 2 guys, and we were rotating. That's how low we were. And then we'd go do services on barges, and they were painting and doing steel. Well, we got frustrated through the years through different things. I remember being so bad, we both quit. We're on leave. We said, that's it, we're out of here. We're walking out the gate, and Pat Wilson's outside his office corner. And he took us up and calmed us down, and he ended up staying. Those were the 90 years. 80, oh, and then the fish boat. We went down to Seattle. The whole Flowers Park, John was down there, Ernie Mastrello, then we did all the work on the boats down there. He had a good time and came back with an American crawl. I remember all that. More speed. Okay, so then we're talking 99 or so. The yard's kind of half-assed slow. You got some of the regular older guys. But a contractor from our hall challenged to bid this supply ship called the HMS More Speed. It was a smaller second-hand, which was Terry Carrizo. And he said, I remember him approached me into it, and I said, yeah, we're into it. And it was Gordy ran nights, Steve Curtis ran days, and we were 1/3 lower price than Nick Ship and all the rest. So, and we came in with a profit at the end of that job. Terry was very happy, and that opened the door for my jetting work for Carriage Mechanical and other contractors. So that's our area. It was all, we did all the mechanics work, we did everything. Now there was cleaning coils and that, which in the yard you would have had other trades, but we did it within the house. Which expanded our hall and expanded our mind. And then we got into we were working for Big Ship, and I remember working at Doctor and Steve Curtis, and then they were our bosses. And I remember working, we were doing drains and these morning jobs, and I was asleep on Navy ships. And there you were, you'd wait 3 hours for a Navy guy to come in. It got my spine. First go walking the ship, looking at it. So I go, what the hell are you doing? He says, I plan on spending the rest of my life doing this shit. Well, Dan was what? A year later, he's running the whole thing, and it paid off. So there's the insight. That's the kind of guy this guy is. So then he ends up running the Navy ship, Navy work, obviously. We got into a tanker job. VP fire in the Gulf, if you guys remember. There was, what is it, the Horizon was burning? One in the Texas, and down in Florida. Well, those two tankers that go by here, they came to our yard. They couldn't fit our dry dock because of the publicity of VP in the fire. We did this job with that yard, and I remember them coming to me, and everybody was busy on building new builds and that. Oh, we got about 75 guys. I go, oh, where did we get these guys? There was very few. There was me, you, and a couple other guys. Kerry Gill helped out. We had 75 oil field workers working there. None of them worked on a ship. We ended up working 16 hours a day, but we still got it all out. I got shingles after it. But it was quite it was something that, you know, like, and then of course we know Gordy took over the Felix because he was the only guy that would do Navy ships that good. Okay, so we'll get into a bit of the history. Gordy is a key pillar in all you guys being in that department. There's certain key people, not key people. You guys are all key people in building a team, and that's how all this department went from the 90s of being a department that people laid us all off to, by the time I had left, all the bosses when I retired told me you guys were the best in the yard. You had and the living proof is you've got 11 people that went to management from our department above me that are in management, Carl, Latitude, Rich, and all those. But what made the department is all the workers working together as a team. It's not me, it wasn't 40 individual, but they're pillars to drive the young guys to learn. And that's where Gordy came in, and I got to get back to, okay, so now his work with the union all my life, everybody owes him something because he spent his whole life devoted to that union. From one other thing is that I've done with Gordy that I'm so impressed, it's one of the rare things in my life, is we were playing darts. We'd won the league a few times, but the bass, the only time in my life I've ever been on teams where you win the league and you win the playoffs. We went to the awards night, we got the most sportsmanlike team, which that's not heard of in sports. And the last thing, Gord, is my advice to you is one of my guys that I look as a mentor is a guy named Clint Eastwood. You ever heard of him? But he was, the last article about 6-7 months ago, and I'm taking this cliche and I've made it a part of my life, is he's directing a movie, and it's saying, and what he's telling you is, don't let the fucking old man, meaning you don't quit. It doesn't have to be the trade, but you keep busy, keep the mind going. My mom's 92, she's done it. That's how you stay alive.